Oh no, you got a mosquito. Gotcha, you little sucker.
All right.
All right.
And we are live, I believe.
More?
Are we live? We're live. All right.
Hello, welcome to the Bennetts Life Podcast.
This is our first ever podcast, so bear with us. We're probably going to have some
Technical difficulties.
little things to iron out, but hopefully it comes out awesome and we don't have anything to do afterwards.
And we have the Munchkin here, so he might be coming in and out of
And there he is.
watching with us or talking with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You already have some in your mouth.
Well, with the baby being here with us today, that gives us a great topic to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about traveling with a kid.
Yeah, so I have done 2 trips with flying with Bodhi, and we did one of those being our family trip to England, and we also have done 2 road trips, I guess. So
We've moved from Seattle to Arizona with him.
Yep,
which
that was a drive.
24-hour trip.
It was very long.
And then you've done Orlando, right?
Yep, we flew to Orlando, which was easier because he was I think 8 months, so he was still little. He could sit in my lap. I fed him, breastfed him. He went to sleep. And then we flew to England when he was a year and 2-ish months, and that was very difficult because he's a big boy and he did not want to sit still on the plane. He didn't want to be sitting in our lap.
And we only had 2 seats as well.
Yeah, so since he wasn't 2 yet, he could still be a lap child, and it was difficult.
Yes. But traveling with a kid can be all sorts of things as well. Like even when he was younger, and I think a good starting point is when we first got him, we were living in Seattle and there was a lot of traffic. He would cry at anything under 30 miles an hour in the car when we were traveling around town in him with a car, which if anybody's ever lived in Seattle or a big city, they know doing 30 miles an hour all the time is not very easy.
Yeah. So it was really difficult to be having him in the car seat. We didn't want to leave the house. We didn't want to put him in the car unnecessarily because he would just scream bloody murder. And being new parents, Bodhi, come here, please. I don't want to buy that. Bodhi.
And in case anybody's wondering, just because it looks like we have a wooden backdrop doesn't mean that we're in some sort of studio. We're actually in our gym, and he's trying to climb on the squat rack. Oh, he's away from now. Bodhi! All right, I'll get him.
Okay, so, yeah, but the point being, and it's mosquito season, so there's mosquitoes around, is that we both have agreed. Chris grew up traveling as a child. His family went on a lot of family vacations, and he grew up playing soccer, traveling with that. I grew up traveling, but more on my own through volleyball and through dance. And we only did probably 2 family vacations that I remember. And so when I met Chris and he was telling me about his childhood and how they were always going, he obviously he's from England, so a lot of their family trips were to different parts of Europe. I was like, that's something that I would like for our family, when we start to have kids and stuff, is for them to grow up, not just family vacations, but traveling, so that's something that we are starting to try and include in our life, but figuring it out how it's going to be working traveling with a kid is kind of where we're at right now. So we are going to be going to Disneyland
Are we going to
his
Disney?
second birthday, which is coming up soon. and that'll be a driving trip. And now that he's getting a little bit older, he's been able to, like, he can kind of sit and watch a movie. He can't sit through a whole movie yet, but he definitely has a longer attention span, so that makes traveling easier. And he doesn't mind being in the car seat as much now, because we drive quite a bit around town, and he's kind of chill with this, so that definitely makes things easier.
Yeah, depending what time of day you get him in the car, it's going to be a fun or an easy trip. I'm excited to be going up to start introducing more traveling into his life. I think it's a huge benefit of growing up. You get to see more than just where you live. You know, a lot of people here in America don't even have passports. I think I had a passport before I could even crawl. Not to say my family was well off or anything. It's just super easy to travel around Europe, which is another reason why it's very difficult to take him to different places from America. For example, flying from here to England to go see my family, roughly the prices are about $1,200 to $1,300 per person, and he's at an age now where he's going to need his own seat, and so that's 3 times that. That's not something we can do every other week, obviously. So road trips are more likely to be happening in America, and I know that we've lived in a few different places in the Pacific Northwest, and now we're in Arizona, and I know we'll be heading back up there at some point to just experience it. Yeah, because he won't remember Seattle at all.
Right. And that was going to be my next point, was that even though it is difficult traveling with a child, and maybe eventually with multiple children, it's something that we feel is important to do even with the challenges, because having kids who have experienced other parts of the world and who know that there's more to life than what they encounter in their normal everyday adventures around the house and around the city, you know, knowing that there's a bigger world out there, I think is invaluable. So that's why we are going to be trying to introduce more traveling, or not introduce, because we both travel a lot in our relationship together even, but just trying to make it more priority in our life, right?
Yeah, we are. So let's talk about some of the good and bad things. What makes it difficult? That England trip when we went.
50 mosquito bites on my leg. Oh. P.S. Look at this.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well.
So the challenges of traveling when we went to England was the length of the flight. Having a 1-year-old on a 12-hour flight was hard. He was not sleeping on his own yet, so he wouldn't just fall asleep in the chair.
If anybody's watching this video, I apologize for getting up and down, but he won't be in the next podcast.
What was I saying? Having a 1-year-old, he wasn't going to sit in a chair for a long time. He was already at that point of like walking and running, so he wanted to be moving around. And anybody who's been on a plane before knows that that is not something that's easily done, because the aisles are small and there's no room. Oh, Bodie. He's got dirty hands. He just put on the mic. The aisles are small. There's not a lot of things for you to do on a plane. I mean, I think adults struggle to travel for 12 hours on a plane. So for a 1-year-old, you can only imagine. Also, when we went to England, it was cold. And we're from Arizona, so we're not used to the cold. And we had never had him in the cold. So he was little. We had to have him bundled up, so we couldn't do a lot of things with him outside because it was cold and he wasn't used to it. We weren't used to it. So sorry if I keep looking down, but I literally have gotten bit like 5 times by a mosquito just sitting here. And what other challenges, Chris? Trying to distract the munchkin. Hope I don't get Zika virus. Ooh, gonna need to go get some of that, what's it called? That pink cream that you put on itchy things after this.
I'd say the most difficult part, even now, is him wanting to do his own thing. Like, it's just... Not that that's a bad thing. I like him wanting to be more independent and stuff, but when you confined to a metal tube flying in the air 37,000 feet, you just want to go to sleep or pass out for 14 hours so you can do whatever you need to do.
Oh yeah, so that's what I was saying. He wasn't falling asleep on his own yet. Like when he was napping and going to sleep, like he was having to breastfeed to go to sleep and then like falling asleep with me. So trying to do that on an airplane was difficult, you know? So I think now he's going to sleep on his own. He doesn't need the boob to go to sleep. So I think that will make the next time we fly easier.
Yes. But...
And the fact that now he'll be 2 the next time we travel. So he'll have his own seat and his own space.
And it was a crazy getting there adventure as well. We missed flights, cancelled flights, lost tickets. It wasn't good trying to get there the first time. Stick? But it was worth it, and that leads it on. Like, it is difficult traveling with kids. We're not going to lie to you. Okay, we're not going to lie to you. It is difficult traveling with babies or 1-year-olds or 2-year-olds because sitting still is not something that they like to do. Right now, Bodhi is chasing around, and we're having to get up and down to sea with him. It's part of being the parents. But the benefit of it all is, for example, when he went to Orlando, he'd never been in that environment before, so he got to experience it. When we were coming down from Seattle, we had multiple pit stops all the way down, so he could experience different things. And what was awesome for me is, obviously, my family are in England, and we went and visited them, and it was the first time he got to meet a lot of people. And without the traveling aspect of it, like the actual travel, I know a lot of people class traveling as different things, but the travel part of it, being in the sky, being in the planes, being in the buses, being in the taxis, like that part's challenging. But to get there and see his face and my parents and grandparents and his great-grandparents' face, it was completely worth it. I'd spend all the money again. I'd deal with all the pain in the butt stuff while we're actually getting there to do it again, which is a decision that we've made. We're going to be... That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be spending more time experiencing this world. It's too big of a world just to be in one place. But to see their face and for him to experience it, like, for example, Christmas last year, we were in a place called Taolaw, and it was his first experience of snow. I know this because I watched the vlog the other day, and he was playing in it, and he knew what it was like, and he got to see his auntie and uncle, and these are all people that he would never have got to meet otherwise, and hopefully he'll get to meet them again soon, or not meet them again, but get to see them again. And you could tell he was enjoying it. The temperature was a shock to him because he's pretty much an Arizona baby right now, but he did enjoy it. Sleeping in a different bed was a little bit different for him, but I think just getting to meet people that he didn't, and that part made the trip for me. Like, regardless of all the little bits and pieces that you do when you're on holiday or vacation with your family, for me it's the experience of him getting to meet the new people, me getting to see people I haven't seen in a long time, and for Casey to... I'm pretty sure you met everyone before we went to England, but just for...
but we hadn't been back in like 4 years.
Yeah, so... And that's something that we want to apply to every other place. Like, for example, I know personally I'd like to go to Asia. I know it's not a hot place where we're both 100% on yet, but imagine taking the baby there, or a toddler there, or a 5-year-old. Like, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. He would lose his mind. It would be it'd be a complete different world.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that traveling, the actual travel aspect of it on the planes and the trains and the taxis and buses and stuff, like, it's not easy. It's difficult with a baby, but it's completely worth it.
And that's not why you travel, for like the actual getting there part, but it's like for the experience once you're there. That's what makes it worth it.
You got any good tips to wrap it up with of what to do with a baby when you're traveling? How to keep them entertained?
I think being mentally prepared that it's not going to be easy, because that's what everybody was telling me. They're like, as long as you're prepared that it's going to be hard no matter what. Like, all of the prepping and like pre-packing, like I had snacks, I had a bag full of toys, I had
you pretty much had his
movies.
Himself, right?
Yeah, I had a whole bag that was just full of things just for him. And even then, like, people were like, just be prepared. He's gonna cry on the plane. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be some sort of delay or something. And so just being able to be flexible and just kind of like let it roll off your back is, I think, the biggest thing. And
it's like, not easy. I nearly was
and I think having to work together, like, don't let the stress of traveling like make you guys like make you fight, because if like we were fighting on the trip, it would have been like even harder.
I think we did pretty well not to fight too much.
Yeah.
On
so
the
like
way
even
out,
though we
it
were
was.
both stressed, like we were trying to like work together to like overcome that, not like letting it be like take it out on each other sort of thing.
Well, in the quick nutshell, we thought we were going to miss our flight, and we left our luggage so that we could make the next flight. And when we got there, we weren't allowed on the next flight, even though we're on time. So that in itself, regardless of having a kid or not, is stressful.
Yeah.
And we didn't get on each other. We didn't scream and shout. He was fine. He didn't understand what the hell was going on anyway.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, I was upset that we weren't allowed on our flight. And then with the addition of everything else, like, that's a one-off. Hopefully we never feel like we're going to miss our flight again or anything like that, you know. But yeah, that's a good one. Be mentally prepared. And I know it's easier said than done, because everyone's like, oh, I'll be fine, I've got a good kid. Everybody's got a good kid till you're tired 12 hours deep into traveling and he can't get to sleep. Then you get a devil child.
Bodhi, I would say in general, it was an easy baby, is an easy kid, but the combination of him not sleeping at his normal time and like being in a different location, like he and I don't think he really cried on the plane at all, but just having to deal with the fussiness of a tired baby who can't get to sleep because he's not doing in his normal place is stressful for parents. So
yeah, I agree. And then another thing is make sure that you're taking turns and trying to help each other out. Like,
yeah,
he was in a stage where he was still breastfed, so a lot of the feeding responsibilities were on you on the plane.
Yeah.
Still, but like then I was taking him, walking him down the aisles,
and that was a stress relief. Like if I would have had to been walking him around and like basically doing all the parenting on my own, that I would have been like checked out. I would have been like, I'm about to lose it. But Chris did a good job of like, I'll take him and I'll walk him around, or I'll take him and I'll change him this time in the bathroom. That's another thing, like changing a baby in that little airplane bathroom is hard. But yeah.
Well, we're getting a flashing light here up on the front, so I think we should sign off before it turns off on us. But yeah, that was our little insight into traveling with a kid or with a baby, and we hope it helped. We'll get better at this podcast and stuff, I'm pretty sure. In fact,
yeah, having the kid is distracting, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like itching to death with mosquitoes.
So yeah, this podcast, once I figured it out, will be available on iTunes. It's also going to be, the video side of it is going to be up on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/the Bennetts Life. So go check that out. We put on vlogs, we put on reviews, we put on how-tos, and a whole bunch of good stuff. Basically, how we work as a family and what it looks like growing up with the Bennetts. So go check it out, youtube.com/the Bennetts Life, and we will see you next week, you think?
Yes, see you on next Sunday.
I don't know if I'm going to upload this on the Sunday.
Oh. See you in sometime in the future.
All right, so yeah, bye.
Ciao.